names and faces on the call. So if I haven't met you yet, my name is Kara Krogh. I'm the Director of Agent Services here at the Keller Williams North Seattle office. And yeah, today we're going to talk about agent sites and how to set up your agent site if it's not already set up. And if it is already set up, I want you to understand how you can edit it and how you can make changes to it. So let's start with, I want to show you a few examples of what you can do with an agent site. So first, let's go to Regina Deason's site. So as you can see here, this is her site. She's got this Keller Williams Heritage logo twice here. Her name is up here. If you were to log in or sign up here, you would basically be putting your information in her CRM. But this would be a way you could heart homes and save collections and things like that, where she would be able to see all of that. And the same thing would go for your site as well. You can search for homes here. There's some information about her down here. And then when you click this menu button, these are all the different pages that she has on her site. So today we're gonna focus on mostly just like a very simple getting your website set up. But then next month for our April Tech Thursdays, Sierra is gonna be covering an advanced agent sites class where she's gonna actually show you how you can further customize your site. So some things that you can do with your site, for example, would be adding a school search, which I think is a pretty good idea. And she's got some YouTube videos up here. I always like to point out, you know, when you watch a whole season of a show and how like by the end of that season, you feel like you know those characters, you feel like they're kind of your friends, right? People feel that way. They have an attachment with people when they see them in videos and hear their voice and things like that. So sharing your knowledge about real estate on YouTube and making videos and then putting those videos on your site is actually a super smart way to get people to kind of form a connection with you, where you will get that mind share from them, and therefore they will want to do business with you. And then let's go ahead and look at some other sites too. This bar can go away. Oh, Zoom. All right, here is the J Team Global. So this one, you can see he's updated his, we call this a hero image. It's like your background image whenever someone first comes to your site. This is actually a slideshow, so it can rotate through up to 5 images. You could even put like a collage. Oh, here you go. Just like this. It was perfect timing. A collage of images. If you want more than 5, you know, you could certainly create something like this in Designs and then upload that. And then he's got all of these options too of places that you could go on his site. For example, if you want to read some client testimonials. If you've got some testimonials on Realtor.com or Zillow, you could pull those off of them and actually put them on your site. And then here's a place that you can leave, people can actually review you on your site too. So there's just so many ways you can customize this site. I know before we were using a different platform. This was like over a year ago, using a different platform for our Keller Williams sites. And there was just a limit to really what you could do with it. And now I feel like the sky is the limit. Like there's so much you can do with these sites. So let's go ahead and get started. To get to your agent site, to edit it in the back end, we need to go to command. So we're going to spend our whole time working on our site in command. That is agent.kw.com. I think about this as the agent access to kw.com. If you don't already have this bookmarked on your computer, I'd highly recommend bookmarking it. Again, it's agent.kw.com. A lot of people will ask me, I don't understand how to get into command. Is it command.com or kw.com? And it is agent.kw.com. And then you'll log in with those credentials here. If you don't know your credentials, you should reach out to your agent services person. They should be able to help you locate that, but hopefully we've got that. And then we're gonna go ahead and get logged in. And if you don't have a question and you are unmuted, if you could just mute yourself, that would be super helpful. I get a little distracted sometimes when I'm teaching. All right, so now that we are in our command, this is my home dashboard. I'm going to click my name up here at the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to click settings. The first thing we do in a lot of command classes is we update our marketing profile, and that is the most important step more than anything else when you're setting up your site. I think like it's great to do that first before you do other things, but setting up your marketing profile before you set up your site is crucial. So we're going to we're in settings. I clicked my name, clicked settings, and now we're going to go to connect settings and then marketing profile. And now that we're in this marketing profile, something really important I want to point out first, you want to have this green switch right here toggled to green. You can update your marketing profile all day, but if this is grayed out like it is right here, nothing is going to push over to your site. So let's make sure that's green. We're acknowledging, you know, we're going to be compliant with our state and market center rules. All right, and then let's go ahead and get started. We want to make sure this is green though. So I've got my headshot right here. This says its recommended size is 360 by 360 pixels. It does not need to be that exact size, but it does need to be a square image. You can try putting a rectangular image in there, but you're either going to look super stretched out and skinny or super wide, and no one wants that. If you want to look like yourself, go ahead and make sure this is a square picture. You can crop it. Usually every computer has some type of photo editor, like very light photo editing software on it. And you can just crop it into a square that way. And then you'll upload it here. It does need to be saved on your computer to upload. And then for team logo, you can leave this blank if you'd like, if you're not on a team. I'm using the Ben Kinney logo. You can find most of these logos, honestly, by Googling. You're welcome to ask your agent services person for a logo, but he or she will probably say, you know, you could Google that. I'll also show you in a minute where you can find your Market Center logo. This isn't where you want to put your Market Center logo, although you can if you really want to, but that's not really what it's intended for. There is another place for Market Center logo. But for the Market Center logo and the team logo, even though it still says 360 by 360, I personally have found that it doesn't really need to be a square image. You can still use a rectangular image and it's fine, especially the Market Center logo. The one I'm currently using is a rectangle and it works on all the platforms. All right, so now we're going to go into our name, our other details. One thing I would recommend, you know, if you see anything, first let me say, if you see anything with a red asterisk star, that does mean it is required. It won't let you save it unless you put something. So make sure you put something there. For the team name, you might not be on a team, but I would still recommend putting something on this box because this is actually, if you go to your site, that's actually what they're going to use for this drop-down menu title. And if you don't put anything, if you leave that box blank, it's just going to say agent. And then when someone gets to your site, there's really no indication from that first page that it's even your site at all. It could be anyone's site. So I would say either use, you know, something that shows that it's you. So for me, I chose to use my name. So it says Kara Krogh at the top for the drop-down menu. You could certainly put, I don't know, Ben Kinney Brokerages, Keller Williams, Tacoma, whatever you'd like if you're on a team. Kara Homes, Homes by Kara, whatever. And then you're going to put your professional job title. So I've noticed, do as I say, not as I do. My job title is actually a little bit too long. It works for the website. It works for most things. But if you want to do like custom videos in designs, there's like a few other places where my job title is a little long. Keep it simple. Maybe just call yourself broker, real estate broker, agent, whatever you want to call yourself. But I do have 2 titles, so that's kind of, you know, it has to be a little longer. And then you'll put your credentials. So most of you guys are realtors, should be realtors. Make sure your dues are paid, or else the Realtor Association can zing you for using this term. But when you do use the term realtor, make sure you do it like a pro and capitalize this word. It should be capitalized, and it should have this symbol at the end of it as well. If you're wondering how to find that symbol, Google it. Google I think I call it like rights reserve R or something like that. Google it, copy, paste it onto this page. It's pretty simple just to do it that way. I know also on I don't know how to do it on a Mac, but on my PC, if I hit, thank you, registered trademark. If on my PC, if I click Alt, I think it's like 0174 or something like that, it pops up magically. So there are shortcuts you might learn. If you're like me and you use this a lot, you'll kind of just memorize those types of shortcuts, but otherwise you'll just have to copy paste. And Google registered trademark logo. All right, so I'll give you guys a minute to, we do want to go ahead and put a bio. So if this is blank, please put something, even if it's just 1 sentence. I'll give you some ideas. So for me, I put Kara is a licensed real estate broker and director of agent services at Keller Williams, North Seattle. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, or are seeking career opportunities in real estate, Kara is the matchmaker you need to know. Another great option would be Kara is a licensed real estate broker at Keller Williams, North Seattle, specializing in helping people achieve their dreams of home ownership. I mean, honestly, make it whatever you want to make it. You don't have to be in love with it, but just let's put something today so we can move on, and you can always come back here and edit it later. Now for mobile phone and office phone, as you can see, there is a red asterisk for that. So you do need to have both of those in there. If you don't want to put your office phone number, or you don't know your office phone number and you just want to move on, you could always put your cell phone number twice. I do have my office phone number here. So if you are in the North Seattle office, that is your office phone number. It's especially helpful for me since I'm the one that answers the phone 9 times out of 10. And then I've got my email here as well. And this is the link to my Keller Williams website. So you might not know what that is yet. That's okay. And actually, I just recently found out, I'm going to take out this www. I think they're having a little bit of issues connecting Keller Williams sites using www. If you take that off though, and just use the https:// it will work. I think they're working on the www issue, but yeah. So if you copy this and put it in here, that should lead you to my site. Yep, there it is. I'm going to close out of that though, because we'll be working on it soon. You do want to make sure this is included in all of the websites. We're going to talk about some more websites we might want to add to our marketing profile here in a minute. Just make sure it's got this kind of intro to the URL. I've got my Market Center name. Here is where I will upload my Market Center logo. So I'm going to show you real fast kind of the long way to find this, but then I'll also point out to you a shortcut in a moment that you'll see. But if you don't know where to find your Market Center logo, before you email your agent services person asking them to send you the big files, here is where you can go to download them. Go to KW Connect. It's going to take me to live streams because that's where I go the most. But once I'm in here, I'm going to go to resources and then marketing. And then logos and branding. And then I'll scroll down a bit and where it says Market Center logos. I will do a search right here. So my market center number is 1081. But if I don't know my market center number off the top of my head, no biggie. I'll just have to type a few more letters. North Seattle, there it is. So that's how you would search for your market center, wherever that is. Search for it. You can preview it to make sure it looks right if you're kind of unsure, but I know this is the right one, so I would just click download. And what this is going to do, why this is better than just emailing someone asking them for the logo, is you want to make sure you get full resolution files, but also not just a logo that looks like this. This will also include, you know, white KWs with gray, or gray KW with gray, like gray and black and white and red and white and red and gray. And it's like all the different variations of the logos that you might need for certain marketing materials. So go ahead and download them all and save them to your computer so you have them. And then here's where I'll upload that once it has been saved to my computer. And again, it does not need to be a square image. I know it looks a little stretched and funky here, but on all of the sites, it looks totally fine. I did once put it into a square image and I actually thought it looked a little too small, and uploading the full resolution file just looks a lot better, in my opinion. Now make sure here, this is going to be your market center information. So I've got my market center brokerage name, my brokerage phone number. Again, you can put your cell phone number here temporarily if you don't know your market center number off the top of your head. And then we're going to have our market center address. So one thing to kind of point out to you guys, I've seen a few people do this a little backwards. You don't need the market center name here. You just need the address. But we're going to put the city, oh, it looks like I'm missing a space, the city, state, and zip here on the second row. So it's like, this is your street number, your street information. Make sure you're not putting your personal home address. This is going to be on your marketing stuff. So just something to keep in mind. Don't put your home address on here. The internet is a scary place. We don't need people to know where you live. And then for your compliance footer, I'm going to copy this whole thing and put it in chat for you guys. But I will also say, you know, you're welcome to use this whole thing. I think the more you put in your legal footer, the better protected you are. However, at the very least, what is required is each office is independently owned and operated. And that's the last sentence in that little blurb. So if you only want to copy that last sentence and paste it in your legal footer, you can do that. But otherwise, you can copy the whole thing and paste it in there if you like.
Sorry, can you go back? Where did you copy and paste that one? Sorry.
It's under compliance and legal footer. I just posted it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You can also add links for legal footers. I don't believe any of those are required in Washington, but I know some states do require it. So if you have your license in multiple states, like I know Texas has a few things that you have to include, you would add a link here. You'd put the title of the link, which is basically what you want the link to show up as. And then when someone clicks it, it'll take them to a site. And then typically what you would do is you would use Google to upload a document or take them to some sort of website. But if you're going to upload a document, just make sure that that document is public, meaning that someone doesn't need to log in with your email address in order to see the file. And if you're confused if something is public or not, you could always send it to me or send it to your agent services person, and we can check it for you and make sure that it's visible. And then here I've got some legal footer images. This is the equal housing opportunity and realtor logos. I also don't believe these are required, so these are kind of optional if you would like to include those. So I did include them here, but it's up to you. And those also need to be saved on your computer before you would upload them. And to find these, I would just Google it, which seems to be a common suggestion today, but that's honestly what I would do. I would just Google it. Okay, so here for your social medias, again, we need to make sure all of these start with that HTTPS. Most of the time, honestly, if you just go to your website and then go up here to the top and then copy the whole page, it's going to have it already there. So instead of just trying to remember what your Facebook URL is, just go to your Facebook, copy the URL and paste it in here, and it's going to be in the right format. A little reminder, it's honestly, it's up to you how you want to market yourself, but I personally suggest don't link your private Facebook page. That's not really what this is intended for. And I don't really think you want to drive a bunch of traffic to your private Facebook page. I would make this your public Facebook page. So for me, that is like a Facebook business page. Don't really look at mine because it's not that good, but just showing you guys kind of what that, it's not my private profile, it is a public page. And then if you don't.
So you recommend creating a public page instead of like an actual profile? Okay.
Yes, very much. So then if you have a Twitter you're using for work or Instagram, oftentimes if you do have a private or a public business Facebook page, you'll also want to make a public business Instagram. Instagram is pretty great these days. Switching back and forth between profiles is pretty easy because there's a lot of people that run multiple accounts. So not a bad idea. Same thing with YouTube or LinkedIn. However, I will say if you don't have all of these things, instead of just leaving them blank, because they are optional, but instead of leaving them blank, leverage and utilize the pages that are provided for you by either your office. So for example, my Instagram account here is actually just the Keller Williams North Seattle Instagram account, or by KWRI. So if your office doesn't have a Twitter, for example, because my office does not, I linked the Keller Williams Realty International Twitter, so like our corporate Twitter. And rather than ask me for all of these links, I'll also tell you that if you're looking for the link to the Keller Williams Twitter, you can Google it. And then for Pixel and as Google Analytics tracking, this is stuff that we covered in our advanced agent sites too. Brittany, if you are listening, and you can drop the link to our Tech Thursday channel, like all of the videos, there's an advanced agent site 2 class where we do cover Google Analytics. But otherwise, I'm gonna leave that blank today. And then for your branded app right here, you should have something in here. If it is blank, I will show you where you can find it. That'll be the next step, but I'm not going to come back here. So just something to keep in mind. If it's blank, I'll show you where you can get it, and then you'll need to come back to your marketing profile and you'll add it. But this is the link to your branded KW app. All right, so let's see, now that we did all that, oh, let me also just point out too for these social medias, just in case you hadn't noticed, these are URLs, so not just your like handle. So I wouldn't say like @Kara Krogh for my Instagram. I actually want the URL site for my profile. I know that's a common misunderstanding. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our site. So we are going to be working out of consumer to work on our site, which is right down here. You can toggle or float over these and see kind of what they are. But if this is taking you a while, you're still kind of getting new to command, click this red KW up here, and it's actually going to expand that menu so you can see all the different menu items, and then just go straight for the one you're looking for, which in our case is consumer. All right, so now that we're in consumer, I'm going to show you guys where you can find that app URL. If your app URL was blank, we're going to click Site and App Settings, and then URLs. And then down here, where you've got this app URL, you'll click Copy. And Robin's actually teaching a class in just a few weeks on your site, on your app. So if you don't feel like you know much about consumer app, hang tight. We do have a class on that coming to you soon. This cannot be customized, unfortunately. This code is the code that you have. You can Of course, you know, create a short link. I like to use this one called bit.ly, which is bit.ly. I have a free account with bit.ly, so you can certainly make this a shorter, more custom URL, but this is your URL from KW and it cannot be customized in KW. So just something to know, this is my code. So I would copy this and I'd go back to my marketing profile to add this link if I didn't already have my app URL there. All right, and then let's go ahead and get started on our site. So let's go back to consumer. And then you probably have a blue box right here that says, see your configured agent site. Most of you guys, if you've been with a company for even just a couple weeks, you've already done your Scott Leroy questionnaire. Your site has been set up in a very minimal way. And you probably already have a URL claimed, which is great. If you don't have that, that's fine. We're going to set that up today. You can configure your site here, which is what we're going to do. But I wanted to just point out too, occasionally you won't see this blue box up here. And if that's the case, it is always available to you down here at the bottom. It'll say configure your site. So if you're not seeing it up here, just scroll down. Actually, you might not have. I've got a ton of pages because I've taught this class lots of times. But if you don't have anything on here, that's okay, but you will, it should be even easier for you to see that button. All right, so let's go ahead and configure our site. Now today we're going to use the new KW agent sites. It's not that new anymore. It's been a little over a year, I think. You know, we're not going to cover using Playster or exploring other options because this is a KW agent site class. So we're just going to click that top button right here and then click submit. So now we've got our Kelly guide. It's just 4 simple steps that are super, super fast and easy to get through. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now here's that compliance reminder. And I told you guys earlier there was going to be a shortcut to get your Market Center logo. Here is that shortcut. So if I were to click here, it's actually going to take me to that logos and branding page that I showed you guys earlier. Otherwise, I'm just going to acknowledge, continue. And then here we are. This is how we are going to get started customizing and getting our site up and running. So just something to point out for you guys too. Everything you see here on the left side, this is your preview of what your site looks like. You cannot edit it on the left side. All of the editing needs to be done on this right-hand side. So the first thing you'll do is you'll confirm your domain. I personally like having my domain match my email address. So my Keller Williams email is karakrog.kw.com. And it's really easy for me to say, email me at karakrog.kw.com or go to my website, karakrog.kw.com. Very similar, very easy. That's my preference. That doesn't mean that that's got to be your preference. So if your email is karakrog@kw.com, but you'd like your website to be northseattlehomes.kw.com or northseattleinvestments@kw.com or something like that, just know you can't use the word realty or real estate. And then you also need to keep that .kw.com. But you can change this front half. So once you've decided what you want it to be, no spaces, no special characters, you can click confirm and it should say, congrats, you confirmed your subdomain. Occasionally it won't let you click confirm, but if it's something that you didn't even add, it was already there, you might have to kind of go back and forth between clicking this button and then clicking save and continue, because sometimes if it's one that you've already claimed, it won't let you push that button, but it will let you move on and it will give you that address still. So just something to kind of toggle back and forth between. If you're getting a red error, it means that either that domain has already been taken. So if your name is John Smith and you're trying to get johnsmith.kw.com, Or if you wanted to have karakrog.kw.com, that's obviously already taken domain, and you can only, it has to be an original one. It also, another reason why it might pop up red is if something that you are using is something that KW has specifically not allowed. So just something to keep in mind too. That could be another reason why you're getting red. So just change the name and you should all be good. And no, you cannot use the word realty in social profile names. Our DB at our office did teach a like an hour-and-a-half long class on all this stuff. Sergey, if you want to email me at karakrog.kw.com, I'll put that in the chat. I can send you the link for that. Anyone else that would like that, I can send you the link. But basically, the DOL doesn't want you marketing yourself as Kara Krog Realty or Kara Krog Real Estate. And that's because to the average consumer, that makes it sound like I am my own brokerage. And it needs to be really clear to them that I am not my own brokerage and that I work for Keller Williams North Seattle, which is a brokerage, and that, you know, I can be Kara Krog Homes or Kara Krog Properties, but I cannot call myself Realty or Real Estate. And Susie, I see you also want that video, but please email me. It'll be really hard for me to remember who all wants it while I'm teaching. So my email is right up there above your name. All right, so moving on. We've got our marketing profile information. This part is really great because you get to see all that hard work you just did building out your marketing profile. Everything should be in here. Maybe double check it and just make sure that everything looks right. You didn't make any errors before, because you can still edit it, which is great. I do like that here it says team or business name. I think it should say that on the marketing profile too, because I think that would make it less confusing. But yeah, my business name is Kara Krog. Got my professional job title, my email, our phone numbers. Now you might want to add some dashes to this. I know I'm using Google Chrome. Google Chrome has a tendency to take out those dashes. I think Firefox is a little less wonky with the dashes. Maybe you don't care. I don't really care, but I am going to add the dashes in here. I've got my license number, my legal footer, all of that stuff. Basically everything we just went over. My headshot. And then all those social medias. And then here is that app link. That should be here as well. And then let's save and continue. It is thinking and saving. All right, we're already on step number 2, you guys. So for your style and theme, I pretty much have only ever used the red style and theme. Oh, thank you, Robin, for that link. I appreciate that. I pretty much only use the red. You can do both. Honestly, I would just pick one and then look at your site, look through it, look at like once you get it done, and then maybe switch to the other one, give it like 10 minutes because it takes about 10 minutes to update, and then look at it again and just see which one you prefer. I'm going to stick with red for now. You'll notice that if I click the KW dark theme, it changes this logo right here. But keep in mind, if you just uploaded your Market Center DBA logo, so like for me, it's Keller Williams North Seattle, it's not going to change the Keller Williams North Seattle logo. It's going to still show up the way that I uploaded it. So that's kind of a little misleading because that's not actually how, that's not how this is going to change. It's mostly going to change like the buttons, links, labels, things like that. So we're going to stick with red. All right, now I've got our homepage text. So this is important, right? Because this is your first impression for your agent site. When someone clicks on your site, they're going to see your logos at the top, your name, and then they're going to see this big picture in the middle that says what? So for me, I put find your dream home. You can certainly update that to whatever you'd like. I have no creative juices in me today, so that is as far as I'm gonna go for suggesting that. And then you can upload up to 5 different hero images. So like I was showing you guys before with Jay's, he's got some cool ones that are like tiled pictures, collages. I specifically went through and I wanted to have pictures of Seattle for mine. So I trashed all of the ones that came with it originally. There's one in particular I really dislike. And it's the one that is very clearly like a San Francisco stoop outside of a San Francisco home. And I'm like, I don't sell real estate in San Francisco, and this doesn't seem like it applies to me at all. So I trashed it. If you trash something, if you throw it away and you're like, oh shoot, I really actually wanted that picture and now it's gone, you can email support@scottleroymarketing.com, and then they can actually put that back on your profile for you. But what I personally would recommend doing is go to Unsplash. I think it's unsplash.com. Pretty sure this is right. Yeah, free photos for everyone. And then I would search for things like, where do you sell real estate? If you sell real estate in Tacoma, maybe search Tacoma and then look at these free images and see if there's any that you want on there. For me, I'm in Seattle. There's lots of good Seattle images of the Seattle skylines, all kinds of stuff. So I would recommend picking a rectangular shape. Yet again, they are going to request that it is a square image, 1200 by 1200. You want to make sure it is a big image, so they're right on the money with that. But I've noticed that, you know, when you upload a square image, they often want you to crop it. And I would rather just like upload the image and then kind of that be it. So but something to keep in mind, people are going to be looking at your site on widescreen monitors, small monitors, cell phones, tablets, like all kinds of things. It's going to stretch and shape that picture in all kinds of different ways. So one thing that's like a really good thing to keep in mind is you don't want it to have one major focal point that's like very important that it doesn't get cropped off. So I think like images with people in it can sometimes be hard. I think that tiled picture that Jay had is good because it can be cropped any which way and there's still going to be at least some full-size images in there. Or like with this picture of all these houses from above, you could crop this any which way, skinny, tall, wide, square, and it's going to look great. So just things to keep in mind as you're uploading images. And these do need to be on your computer before you can upload them on here. And then just a reminder too, you can have up to 5. And then let's save it and continue. All right, so now we're gonna work on our company profile. So for me, if I was on a team, I'd probably make this kind of about my team or about Keller Williams, or maybe both. You could always do, you know, about Keller Williams, about Kara Krog Property Group, and then about Kara Krog. You know, you can do all sorts of things like that. You can add more of these pages too. You're not just limited to these 3. But just for starters, as an example today, I would say I think it's a great idea to leverage the name of Keller Williams. People were the largest brokerage in the world in terms of agent count. So you might as well just leverage that name. Talk a little bit about the company. Let me see, it's been a while since I've been on Jay's page, but let me see if he still has something that I really liked before. If I go here, KW Worldwide, maybe? Yeah, so here he's got a page where he just talks all about Keller Williams and kind of like where they are. Oh, company profile, maybe here. It's taking a little bit to load. That's okay. Oh, there it is, South Florida. Okay, so here, this is actually something I was gonna pull up. He does still have it on his site, which I think is great. He's leveraging the Keller Williams belief system. This is a graphic that's available to all of us. You can probably Google it. You can probably find it or find something similar in designs. There's lots of places where you could find something like this, but put a graphic in here with our belief system and talk about kind of what that is and why it's important, because that's a huge part of who we are at Keller Williams. I think that's a really, really great idea. So that would be, well, here, we'll get there in a minute. So just something you can keep in mind here, we can rearrange these. So if you want it to be, company first and then about me and then contact us, or if you want it to be contact us first, about me, company, it's all totally up to you, whatever you want to do. For search engine optimization, we're going to have our page title. So this is going to be actually what it shows up when you click your name or whatever you've chosen as that drop-down menu. It's going to be what the page title shows up like. So we could put about Keller Williams. And then here for about us, or for the URL slug, I love any class I get to teach where we get to talk about slugs. This is a fun day. Here we are going to put basically how we're going to extend our website address if I wanted to lead someone directly to this page. So my website, karakrogh.kw.com, could then be sent to someone, or I could send them karakrogh.kw.com/about-kw, we'll say. You can't put any spaces or special characters, but in internet URLs, a dash is basically the same thing. It's synonymous to a space, so people will get it. And then for your SEO description, I am not an SEO expert, but I will say it is different than it once was. If you remember back in the days of SEO descriptions where it was all about keywords, it was real estate, realtor, Seattle, homes for sale, that you're going to look silly if you just put a bunch of keywords in here, because that's not really how the internet, that's not how SEO is used anymore. Google is a lot smarter than they once were. And so I'll show you an example. If we go to google.com and then let's Google homes. Oops, why is that not typing? Homes for sale near me. And then these are ads, so let's scroll down a little bit. So right here, we've got, see this like gray stuff right here? This is your SEO description. So keep in mind, if someone was going to Google your page and your website was going to pop up with a specific page on your website, this is what the SEO description is. It's going to tell them basically, if you click here, what will you find? So use sentences so people don't think you're crazy. All right, so for here, I might just say, learn why Keller Williams is a great choice for real estate agents and their clients. That's all you get from me today. Like I said, my creativity is lacking. All right, and then here we actually get to update our content. So for our page header, we're going to call this about Keller Williams. And then I would probably want to upload a picture here that was something more kind of KW related. For my intro paragraph, fun fact about this intro paragraph, there is no character limit. So you could write your novel here. You could get it started, write a few 100,000 words, no character limit. Just keep on going. Tell us all about Keller Williams. If you don't want anything here, my recommendation is actually to put a space. I've just noticed if I leave things blank, sometimes they get weird. So I'm just kind of default. I just put a space there if I don't want something there. Or it would be a good time to put basically what I said before, learn why Keller Williams is a great choice for agents and their clients, but I'm not going to type all that again. And then for your header titles, this could be, now I've told you, you're going to learn about why Keller Williams is so great, but here's where you tell them what you're going to tell them, and then you tell them. So here's where I tell them. So this would be like maybe our beliefs. And then I'd upload a square image. This one should be square. of that WI 4Cs 2TES is what we call it, but it's our belief system. And then I can talk a little bit about what those are and why they're so important to us. And something else here as well. And then for here at the footer, I will say you do not need to have a footer. You do, I think, need to have both of these. But for the footer, you can take this out. You can just backspace, and it should be gone. And then if you'd like what you've done and you want to save and continue, just click continue. If you're like, I might want to redo this later, you can click skip and you'll still be able to move on. So next we've got about moi. Navigation. We already sorted this, so there's no need to sort it again. Although if you change your mind and you're like, I actually like this page way better, let's move it up, you can do that. SEO. So this one I actually put my phone number first. I think I read somewhere that if you put your phone number in your SEO description, you're making it easier for people to contact you, and it can be a really smart move for real estate agents. If someone Googles you because they want to call you because they want to list their house with you or buy a house with you, it's probably a good idea for you to make sure that your contact information is readily available. And then I also just added a quick kind of blurb. Again, this is what I would want to show up on Google before someone clicked this About Me page. Kara is a licensed real estate broker and director of agent services at Keller Williams, North Seattle. I'm sure you could come up with something better than that, but that's just what I have. And then here's where my content goes. That bio should already be there because I already put that in my marketing profile. And another great thing I'll mention too about that marketing profile, I just recently got a new headshot because my last headshot was like 3 years old. And, you know, there's been a lot going on in the world in the last 3 years. So needed to update a little bit, show my new age. And I just uploaded it on my marketing profile and bam, it just pushes out to my site and all my other marketing stuff. So that's a really great quick and easy way to get that updated. If you need to update your headshot, you get a new phone number, you get a new email address, a new name. I also just got married recently, had to change my name on everything. So marketing profile is a great place to start for those. And then you'll hit continue. And then we've got customize your site's content. So this is the contact us. Again, SEO, I've got contact us. My slug is contact. So if I wanted to, instead of giving someone my email or like my business card, say, oh shoot, I'm all out of cards, but let me write my email down for you, karakrog.kw.com/contact, and that has all my information. And now you look like a marketing media savvy person who just doesn't carry business cards, which isn't smart, but kind of made up for it. And then for SEO, let's change this to contact Kara. Oh yeah, I kind of like that too, where it says contact us. I think I already changed it over here, but contact Kara. And then I've got this intro paragraph, which I left blank, but you can put something in here and you'll see kind of how it populates. So let's say, say hello. And then here's your message hint. So kind of give people an idea of what they could reach out to you about. Are you looking to buy or sell? What's your time frame? Where are you in your search? What is your budget? These are just suggestions. You can certainly edit this, change it, but this is basically, this will disappear once they start typing anything here, but this will kind of give them a good idea of what they should be writing in this message. And then I've got my phone number and my email, which is obviously very important on a contact page. And then we're going to click save and continue. And you guys, we just did it. We did the whole thing. So now if I just click this X right here, it's going to take me back to that Agent Sites page. And I should be able to see all those pages that I just edited, if I had any, if I edited any. So then let's go back real quick to, and you can also, since like I said, I've taught this class lots of times, I have lots of these pages. You can also click this and delete some if you've got a lot of repeat videos, or not videos, sorry, repeat pages. That's the word I was looking for. And then go to Site and App Settings. So now I want to show you kind of a quick way if you do want to make some changes instead of going through that whole Kelly guide again, you can just come here. So again, let's go back to consumer, go to Site and App Settings, and then this is kind of where it spits you out. So here, if I want to change that first sentence that someone sees in front of those hero images, I could update that here. If I wanted to add more images or throw away any images, I can do that here as well. So this would be for your download your app landing page, which I am sure we will talk about in Sierra's class in April. And then adding virtual listings to tours. So here, another thing too for preferences, just in case the first time I saw this, I was like, wait, where are my preferences? Why aren't they there? You got to click this kind of sneaky down arrow, and then it'll actually drop this down. So this will be for your app if you want to enable the Keller Mortgage and Keller Covered stuff on your app. You can also just disable it if you're like, I don't want that stuff on my app. Up to you. And then for URLs, we've got that URL for our site here. We already kind of talked about this app URL. And we're gonna skip over featured listings for this basic class, but then let's talk about your theme. So now I've tried the red theme. If I want to switch and do the dark theme and kind of see how that changes things, this is where I would switch that over. And then I could save it. And again, just remember, it takes about 10 minutes for that to actually update on your site. So just be patient. I would even maybe give it 30. Just change it and then do something else for a bit, come back to it, see what you think. If you like the other one better, just switch it back. And then here we've got my agent site pages. So now I can see I actually have like 36 pages that some are and aren't being used on my site. This is actually these are actually the list of ones that I am actually using. If I wanted to add a new page, I would just click that and then I would pick the page that I want to add and then add it. I might also decide I want to rearrange some things. I want my vendor search above my real estate blog, my buyer's guide, maybe down here, all kinds of stuff like that. You can also delete. If you're like, that page didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I just don't want to do it at all, delete that page. So lots of things you can do from here. But one thing that's really tricky and not, I think, the most intuitive thing about editing.
Physical therapy with the neurologist.
Does someone have a question? Oh, I was just about to answer. I just looked in chat and Jerry wants to know, is there a way to edit our agent site pages without deleting them? And yes, I was just about to say that. It's not the most intuitive way to do it, but I'll show you how. So we're actually going to go into designs. Now let me just back up real quick before we go to designs. Once you start making other sites, so not just your agent sites, but we also have landing pages too, which are kind of like standalone pages separate from your site, you can actually edit those from landing pages. And then I would think for agent site pages, you should be able to click this and then also edit them, but that's not how that works. You will go to designs. And then we've had classes specifically on designs. So if you want to learn more about designs and you haven't used it a ton, definitely play around in here because it is super fun. But, oh wait, where are they? Am I going crazy? Aren't they here?
I think they recently changed some things around. So we'll have to look into it, but there is a way to change them. So we'll look into the new change and figure out what's happening. Because I know it is eventually going to be in that consumer page landing site option.
Right.
But
it definitely was.
Yeah, that's strange. It was just there like a week ago, I feel like.
it's
Well,
still
I guess it's not
updated.
strange. It's like a living thing.
They probably changed it this morning because they were like, it's Tech Thursday. We should change some stuff.
Yeah.
Keep everyone on their toes. But yeah,
I find it easiest to just recreate the page you're going to replace before you delete anything, and then add that and replace it.
oh, that makes sense. All right, well, I think that basically does it. Let's see, I see the chat box. Does this transpose to cell phone view okay, since most people use their cell phones? In my experience, yes, it works really well on a cell phone. What I would do if I were you is once you configure your site, I would visit your site on your phone and see how it looks. And if there's something that you don't like or that you want to change, I would then make those changes. But in my experience, it works really well. And one thing that's great when you're creating separate sites, so we only have about 3 more minutes left, so I think I can try to, let me see if I can do it from here. So if I'm going to create a new page, which is something, again, we'll talk about more in our next agent sites class. Okay, so here, this would be if I was going to create a new page, like let's say I wanted to do some testimonials or get a testimonial capture form where someone can leave me reviews. Let's just throw that one on here. I can actually click, see these icons up here? I can click this and see kind of what it would look like on desktop, what it would look like on an iPad, and then what it would look like on mobile, on a phone. So it gives you an idea. I would still probably check it from my phone anyway, if I wanted to really be sure of that. But that is a way, as you start creating new pages, you can add more. So, oh, thanks, Robin. And thanks so much, everyone, for coming. I mean, I guess it's almost 11, so I feel like we did pretty good on time. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know or reach out to your agent services person. We're here to help. That's what we do. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a great Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.